Last Tuesday night, against my better judgment, I decided to watch that thing that Vince McMahon calls ECW. Now, I did this because I had heard some really good things about the tag team of Jimmy Yang and Shannon Moore, so I figured I'd check them out. And they make a good team, I'll give them that. They're not the Motor City Machine Guns or anything, but they make a better tag team than most of those losers in the WWE tag team division right now. But what might have been a great match instead was only a good match because it was dragged down by two no-talent pieces of shit women wrestlers named Layla and Kelly Kelly. Now, don't get me wrong, okay, never in a million years would I kick either of these women out of my bed, but that doesn't mean that I want to see them in a wrestling ring either, because they can't fucking wrestle. Maybe they could after a whole lot of training, but not now. But Vince McMahon doesn't care because they're both really hot, and that's all that he thinks that women are good for, to be eye candy. That's why they're relying on all these no-talent Diva Search contestants to fill out the ranks of the women's division. If WWE were really serious about women's wrestling, they'd look to the independents, and they'd go after women like Mischief, or Sarah Del Rey, or Eden Black. But guess what? They're not going to do it, because those women do not fit that prototypical mold of the woman that Vince McMahon wants in his company. They're not blonde enough, they're not skinny enough, and their boobs aren't big enough. Well, you know why Sarah Del Rey isn't skinny enough for you, Vince? Because she's got fucking muscle on her body. She's an athlete. She's a wrestler. She's not a fucking bikini model. I don't like Hornswoggle. I am fucking sick of Hornswoggle. Last Monday, I was yelling at the TV for William Regal to beat the living shit out of his annoying ass, and I was pissed off when it didn't happen. You know, he's not funny anymore. He's not cute or endearing or sympathetic. He's stupid and annoying and fucking ridiculous. Hornswoggle as the Son might have been funny at first. Hell, I got a good chuckle out of it myself. But it's been God knows how many weeks since then. And guess what? This shit ain't funny anymore. You know, leave it to Vince McMahon to take something that was mildly amusing at best and milk it and milk it and milk it until everyone is blue in the fucking face. Bradshaw. I don't care how many millions of hours of promo time you give him or how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of pyro you waste on his no-talent ass. No one gives a shit about Bradshaw. The only reason he ever got the world title and held it for a year in the first place is because all the real stars on SmackDown were too injured to get in the ring. And what the hell happened to that match he lost to Rey Mysterio where the stipulation was if you lose you must retire from wrestling, not if you lose you must retire from wrestling until Chris Jericho bumps into you by accident. And for that matter, while we're on the subject, what the hell happened to that supposed clause in his announcer's contract which prevented him from getting physically involved in matches under penalty of getting fired? Well, are we just forgetting about all that now? And sure, the Ric Flair Triple H match was well booked and dramatic, but at the end of the day, anyone with two brain cells to rub together knows that you're not going to retire Ric Flair on some generic episode of Raw when WrestleMania is right around the corner. We're not stupid, Vince, no matter how much you might want to think we are. And what does Big Daddy V want with CM Punk anyway, to put him between two slices of bread? Yeah, it was nice that Triple H put over Jeff Hardy clean, but we all know he only did it in the first place because he wants to get the belt back at WrestleMania instead of the Royal Rumble, even though the last time that Triple H was pushed as a top star on the show, the ratings went down because everyone and his brother is fucking sick of seeing Triple H in the top spot. Victoria might just be the best woman wrestler they've got, but she's just being wasted on SmackDown because she's got no women's championship to win since the actual women's division is on Raw. And how much you want to bet she's going to have to job to Kelly Kelly sooner or later? You get CM Punk as your ECW champion and he's getting destroyed practically every week. I mean, there hasn't been a world champion booked this shitty since Rey Mysterio. Brought back Chris Jericho with this huge viral campaign behind him. He comes in with a ton of hype, and then his return's already fallen completely flat because 1 week later you had him wrestle a competitive match with Santino Marella, who just lost a feud to Jerry Lawler, for God's sake. Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Probably the best damn tag team in the whole fucking company. They were tag team champs for almost a year on SmackDown, and they were doing great over there. So what do? You bring them over to Raw, and then you have Triple H destroy both of them for no fucking reason at all. And then you job them out 50 times, and then you send their asses off to Sunday Night Heat because creative doesn't have anything for them to do. Well, if the Raw writers can't think of anything for them to do, then why in the blue hell did you take them off of SmackDown in the first place? How many times can Triple H appear on one show anyway? I think they got that extra hour on the 15th anniversary Raw show just so they could allot more TV time to Triple H and his gigantic ego. Where did they find Umaga's gimmick? 1985? Where the hell do you come by a savage pro wrestler anyway? What did they get in the Wayback Machine? Go back in time 5,000 years and find a fucking Samoan caveman? And they're only pushing this guy in the first place as some lame-ass way to copy Samoa Joe. Everyone knows that. Triple H is probably going to main event WrestleMania again this year. Wow, we've never seen that before, have we? I mean, my God, how many times can one guy headline WrestleMania? I mean, seriously, is there a limit? There's got to be some kind of limit. I am embarrassed for all the female workers out there on the indie circuit who watch WWE and probably die a little inside because, like it or not, all these no-talent divas are representatives for women's wrestling. You know, I'm embarrassed for all the fans who, like me, are pissed off at Vince McMahon for thinking so little of us that he thinks he has to erase the past and stoop for the lowest common denominator each and every week just to get our fucking attention. And of course, Vince McMahon thinks my opinion doesn't matter. I mean, who the hell am I? I'm no one important. I'm just some smart Mark internet fan. But guess what, Vince? I'm one of those hardcore wrestling fans that you managed to drive away. I am a long-time wrestling fan that abandoned your ass because your product got so bad for so long. Now, I'm in my 20s. I'm right there in the middle of that meaty male 18 to 49 demographic that you love so much, and I'm telling you your product sucks. So what are you gonna do? What?